One night, a friend had asked me if I knew the quote, Lombardi's pizza lore, and I did not. But the short story was that a different friend had stumbled upon it while staying in a hotel in Nashville, Tennessee, and found online that the reviews were absolutely scathing across the board to the point that it was, quote, the funniest so bad it's good restaurant ever, end quote. Now, I was very curious by this point, so please join me as we together unravel the mystery of Lombardi's Pizza. Now, the time I'm working with for this video is from at least 2012 because in fact, Lombardi is just the middle child in several almost identical restaurants. The first review at our first stop, a place called Milano's, is pretty good, with the two most notable things being here that she found Milano's from her hotel and that she did not order any pizza. After that, though, things quickly spiral into chaos, with reviewers mentioning that they were cursed out and never received their orders at all. Oh no. And this is a pretty common theme across these restaurants with no real middle ground. And another common link is that they poach almost all of their customers from hotels. As you can see, they reference that their flyers were even put under their door, and as you can figure out, they went to hotels because those are people who are not from the area or not local. Here is a picture that one reviewer took of their menu. Judging by the quality, I would say that it was photocopied, and the menu items themselves look like they should be normal, but aren't really, as we'll get to that. And the address for the Elder Milano's is a police station of all places, which was definitely very confusing, and if you're confused by me saying Elder Milano's, that's because there is actually a second Milano's existing at the same time in a different location. And this location also didn't make too much sense, it just seemed to be an empty lot, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. But like the first Milano's, the reviews start out pretty good, before again going into chaos, featuring little communication and unwillingness to give out a real address, and even one reviewer mentioning plastic in her food. Now, remember Napoli's because we will come back to that name, or Napoli's. Anyway, there is actually a third Milano's named East Milano's, or E Milano's, and they seem to actually be a real restaurant. Oh no, did they steal it from these Milano's? Now, at first I wondered if this restaurant was also not legitimate because, quite frankly, the prose of this is a little odd, but they have decent reviews and a brick-and-mortar location, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt even if they are doing something shady. Going forward to 2015, we see that a Sam's Subs received a permit on August 28th, 2015 at a 2606 address. And we'll call this lad Sam. And why this is relevant, well, 2 days earlier on the 26th, a Venito's is filed in the exact same location. And that's Venito's with an E, because Venito's might have also been stolen from Venito's with an I, specifically from the same competition. And again, the first review is just decent this time, but as it goes, the reviews quickly turn sour, now alleging card fraud. Other reviewers also write about how their card information was stolen after paying Venito's with card. It really speaks to the potential fraud that was happening here because this review mentions it was posted on October 6, 2017. And I highlighted the date on Sydney's review here because legally Venito's would have been inactive by now. Reviews also mentioned being heavily upcharged, and again, after the supposed inactive notice. And people that went to the location for carryout mentioned very unsanitary conditions, with again mentioning the poaching of hotels and the upcharges. This review really ties in everything, like Milano's and Venito's, across phone numbers and account names, and even mentioning poaching from the real Venito's. Now, remember this lad who ordered a Lombardi pizza? Well, that's right, it's time for our main character, Mr. Lombardi's Pizza himself. Lombardi's actually has a website, and it lists the same address as Venito's with an E. And there are some suspiciously fake Grubhub reviews to boot. Now, actually looking at their Grubhub tells a much different story, with there being over 1,000 reviews with an average of 1 star, the absolute minimum, which I honestly find pretty impressive. Their Yelp has lower ratings than either the Milano twins or Vanitos, and not even the first review starts out good this time. And the most recent reviews don't either, with the last one being from 2023 mentioning how the location is a clothing store with no pizza to be found. This more or less sums up Lombardi's experience. Cross-referencing the menu, we see that they're the exact same pizzas even down to the numbers listed on them. And what happened after Lombardi's? Well, that train kept on going, because now we're at Napoli's. And Napoli seems to go by many aliases, with the Napoli Pizza and Gyro place not having a lot to say besides 5 1-star reviews. Their hours are pretty strange, and it has the familiar overcharging, awful food, awful service, and their hotel marketing. Napoli Pizza and Cafe Napoli Pizza and Cafe had even less of a presence, but it did share the same appetizer menu as the previous places. Now, Napoli Pizza and Pasta was just weird. As you can see, they have the label, the domain name, and a picture all referencing falafel and gyros, but even just scrolling down shows that it's still a pizza menu, even including a Napoli reference. Their one Grubhub review seems at least a little real, and it did make me laugh because it's just so straight to the point and not something that I would put if I was a restaurant on my page. But from here, we actually have a bit of a redemption arc, because the current place, Italia Pizza and Pasta, while nothing to write home about, is doing miles better than all the previous renditions, and it's almost at 3 stars. And I never thought I would say almost 3 stars is amazing. They seem to even have a real brick and mortar location as well. And this was my favorite review because the criticism seemed very constructive. And this part at the bottom sums up where I hope their pizza businesses go as well. That's where we are today, and I can't predict the future, but I do sincerely hope that their business model is on the mend and they can one day have a successful, good pizza business. And thank you all so much for watching, everyone. This was a silly video made for a Discord server, and I had a lot of fun making it. Au revoir.